Right. The time is 6:35, Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. The City of East Cleveland regular council meeting is called to order. Dr. Guy, can you call the roll, please?
Councilor Austin, Lima Rouse, Councilor Stevenson,
Present.
Councilor Gowdy,
Present.
Councilor Martin,
Present.
Councilor Smith,
Present.
Mayor King here, administration, and our director will attend as budget of the administration.
Thank you. Next we have remarks of public on agenda.
And we add,
Oh yeah, we have a special guest here, Ms. Audrey Wynn from the Census 2020 to do a presentation for the people, for the benefit of the people. I would like to entertain a motion from one of my colleagues, because it's not on the agenda, to add Ms. Wynn to the agenda before minutes to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Audrey Wynn of the Census be allowed to make a presentation at
Thank
this
you very
time.
much. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a second. Dr. Guy, can you call the roll, please?
okay, Councilor Stevenson,
Yay.
Councilor Martin,
Present. I mean, yay.
Councilor Gowdy,
Yeah.
Present.
and
Yay.
Councilor Gowdy.
Present.
Yay.
Oh.
You voted.
Oh, voting on what?
To add, Ms. Audrey Martin to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Smith,
Yay.
okay, approved.
Thank you. Ms. Wynn, please.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Where would you like me?
Right here.
That microphone don't actually work, I just thought to tell you.
Okay, well then, I'll just talk a little louder. On the other side?
Yeah, you fine.
Okay, so can everybody hear me? So thank you for having me. My name is Audrey Wynn. I'm a partnership specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau. And I'm here I'm very grateful to be able to talk to you tonight about the 2020 census. There are 4 partnership specialists in Cuyahoga County. We talk to elected officials, government communities, community organizations, and community leaders about the 2020 census and why it's urgent that we get the best possible count. So some of the reasons why it's important that we do this is it's in the Constitution. It's a constitutional right to be counted for everyone. Also, this is how seats in the U.S. House of Representatives are apportioned. So our congressional representation depends on an accurate count of the people in this district. Also, redistricting is done using data that comes out of the census as well. So every 10 years we count. We use that data from the count to determine what our state representative districts are going to be, our local districts, as well as even our school districts are districted by the data that comes out of the census. The census data helps communities plan. It helps businesses know where they want to move. When they decide they're going to build a new location or open a new store or a new manufacturing plant, they look at census data to determine if there are enough people in that area to support their new location. So it's important that our communities are accurately counted. Also, and more importantly, the census is responsible for the distribution of $675 billion in federal funds. That's every year for 10 years, because the census is only done every 10 years. So those $675 billion in funds pay for programs like Medicaid, free and reduced school lunch, Section 8, SNAP benefits, TANF benefits, also roads and bridges, and a lot of the infrastructure that we rely on to have a good, solid community. That information comes out of the data that's reported from the census. So it's important, particularly here in East Cleveland, that we count everyone, because every person that's counted shows that the community is growing, the community is vibrant, and that business should come here, funds should be directed this way, so it's very important that we're counted. Now, we understand at the census that there are some potential difficulties that people have with reporting to the census. There's a lot of government mistrust. But there is a lot of government mistrust in this country, so people are concerned what's going to happen when I give my information. Well, census data is protected by law. By law, the first thing that happens when you submit your census is that your personally identifiable information, your name, is separated from your statistics. So you can see that there is African American female, however many years old, lives here, but that data is not associated with Audrey Wynn. And that's true for everyone. That data is kept separate for 72 years.
Ouch.
Has anybody here ever done a family history research? When you do family history research, we use census data, right? So historical census data. The most recent data we have available with names is the 1940 census. So that goes to show that for 72 years your data is kept confidential and separate. So we want people in the community to understand that their information is safe when they take the census. The Census Bureau is a statistical organization. We are not an enforcement agency. So your information that you submit on your census response is not going to the IRS, it's not going to Child Support Enforcement, it's not going to ICE, it's not going to any other federal agency. It is specifically used for the 10-year count of population. So we want people to feel confident. Also, another challenge that we face is that people have very complicated living situations. Much more than in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. People stay different places. We have grandparents raising grandchildren. There are a lot of living situations that make it difficult to count. So who do I count? You count everyone who lives in your residence. If they sleep at your residence most of the time, that's how they should be counted. Census Day in the United States is April 1st, 2020. If you're not sure whether to count a person, will they be sleeping at your house, in your residence, on April 1st, 2020? If so, then yes, you're going to count them. One of the hardest to count groups is children under 5. They were the most undercounted group in the 2010 census, which is the last census. There's a lot of reasons for that. We're not sure exactly why people aren't counting their small children, but all children, even babies, should be counted if they take a breath on April 1st, front end or back end. They should be counted. They should be counted because the baby who may be neglected to be counted will be 10 years old by the time the next census comes around. So we only have one shot to get this right every 10 years, okay? So please count the babies. Another group that we are concerned about whether we're going to get an accurate count of is people who are renters. Renters tend to move from place to place more often than people that own their homes. So sometimes it's, they kind of get caught up in the middle of it and then they forget to do the census. Also, our census takers can't just go into a secure apartment building and knock on doors from door to door because it's a secure building. So we have to rely on people who rent to understand that every rental unit is a household. This is not something that your landlord would take care of for you or submit on your behalf. Every rental unit is a household and the people in that unit should be counted. So we want to make sure we pass this information along to the people that we know, family members, friends, church members, whoever you can get to listen. Also, let's see. So we want to count, there are 4 ways to respond to the census. It's easy. It's going to be really easy and straightforward to take care of in 2020. So you can do, for the first time ever, you can respond to the census online. So it's really easy. When you're inputting the information, the data is encrypted, so nobody can see it. When you submit, your data comes out of the online environment, so you don't have to worry about it being hacked or anything like that. All libraries in Cuyahoga County, including the East Cleveland Library, are offering their computer workstations for people to come in and take the census, and they'll have trained individuals available to help people through the census questionnaire. You can also take the census by phone, meaning you will call in with your information. Nobody should call you, okay? So this is a large effort. The census is the largest peacetime effort of the U.S. government. We're hiring over 500,000 people for this effort. So we know that sometimes there are people out there who are up to no good, right, in an effort this large. So how do we protect ourselves? One is by understanding how the census works. No one will call you to take your census information. If somebody calls and says they're calling to get your census information, it's not legitimate. Also, you should never be asked for your social security number. You should never be asked for your bank account information, PIN number, anything of that nature. You should never be asked for a donation. If you get any of those types of questions, they are not on the survey and it's not legitimate. So we want everyone to feel safe when they submit their information. The third way you can respond to the census is a traditional way, on paper, by submitting it in the mail. It's postage paid, so you don't have to worry about the postage returned, and also finally an in-person interview. A census taker could come to your door and either remind you to take your census or respond, or in some cases, they'll actually take your information down for you. How do you recognize a Census Bureau member? Because they're gonna be moving through the community, right? So every census employee will have a badge like this. It's vertical, it has a picture, an expiration date, and the seal of the Census Bureau. Also, everybody will have a device, which I forgot to bring mine. And on their devices, it'll have 2020 Census, the logo on the back, and then on the front, the seal of the Bureau of the Census. So we want you to feel secure. Also, census takers, that activity takes place across your doorway. Census takers do not come into your home. So if you're talking to them where they're enumerating you, they're doing that across the doorway. So what do we ask? The census is very straightforward. It's asking, who are you? Your address. Who lives with you? Their names and birth dates, your name and birth date. And also there is a section for you to indicate your race. And do you own or rent? Are you male or female? That is it. It's a very straightforward questionnaire and easy to do. So finally, what's the timeline? On March 12th, 2020, so we are real close, we're under a month now, every household in America will receive an invitation to respond to the census in the mail. So it's going to come by mail. That card or the invitation that you receive will have the email address where you can take the census online, and then the second thing, it will have the telephone number for you to respond by phone if you choose to do it. We're going to notify every household in America 5 times until they respond. So if a household responds to the census, we'll stop. You won't receive any more notifications. After the 5th notification, if a household still has not responded, then census takers will begin to come to your door to remind you to take the census or to take your census information. So we recommend that people please just take it early, get it done, and get it out of the way. Also, there are jobs. So I mentioned we're hiring 500,000 people nationwide. Well, there are a lot of jobs in Cuyahoga County that we have to fill as well. If we don't have enough people to do the enumeration in every neighborhood, every community across Cuyahoga County, it threatens our ability to get an accurate count. So we need people to, take these jobs. Census taker jobs in Cuyahoga County pay $22.50 an hour. They're temporary part-time jobs, and the only qualifications to apply is that you be a U.S. citizen and you be 18 years of age or older. You make your own hours, however you'd like to do it. You are paid expenses if you use your car to go from place to place. And there's one way to apply, and that's online. It's an entirely online process. The site is 2020census.gov, and Ms. Fitzpatrick has some handouts, and I actually left a few things outside the door, some posters that I encourage you to take and put around your job, your apartment building, your church, so that people know that these jobs are available so that we can get some of these good jobs. So that's all I have tonight for council, unless anyone has any questions for me. Is it okay for questions from the audience? I don't want to overstep.
It's okay if it's fine with you.
Yes, I'm fine. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
are you reaching out to the high school students who are 18, like the school project, you do that? And also holding the leadership in the team system that's around the county to be involved, to show the leadership like we did when we were kids.
Yes, sir. The answer to both those questions is yes.
So
We're reaching out to high schools across the county to
which
let
ones
them
have you
know.
reached out so far?
Well, there's 4 of us, so I can't answer. We're still in process, so I can't
That's
tell
a
you
big
everyone.
part of it, then. That's what because I think we talk about the job, and for East Cleveland, to get young people engaged in that process and really make some money, that would give them more hope.
Yes.
So that would be something that's aggressive.
Yes, absolutely. And we have some community organizations throughout the community that are helping us to spread that word as well in East Cleveland. Yes, ma'am.
Is this available for disabled, disability citizens as well?
Okay, so there's no prohibition for anybody to apply. Now, whether it will affect your benefits, that is something you'll have to check through that agency. I will say, though, that for people who are receiving SNAP and TANF benefits in East Cleveland, or in Cuyahoga County, or Ohio, the whole state actually, that income that you earn from the census is exempt. so it does not affect your benefits for SNAP and TANF. Okay? So it's an ability to make some extra money without, losing anything.
I said, well,
Yes, sir.
precinct captains should be, or precinct people, if they take the youth in their community, that would help it out. Use it like the political ring, but use the precinct people to give people jobs who maybe formerly might support the political system as they get older.
That's a very good idea. Yes, sir.
I heard you enumerate what the census is predicated on, but I did not hear you explain to the city that the money that we get from the federal government is predicated on the census and what have you, what amount that we will get.
Yes.
And so I just want to throw that in.
Okay, well, let me make that clear. Communities that are undercounted run the risk of being underfunded. It's a direct correlation. Okay. Anyone else? Any questions?
One question that you need to deal with so that people will know. If you have a felony, can you do census work?
You can apply, so no one is prohibited from applying. We cannot guarantee the person will be hired, as we can't with anyone who would apply. I will say this, the safety of the community is always paramount. So it doesn't mean if you have a felony you can't be hired. It means that the investigators will determine whether or not, it meets that criteria. Okay? Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you all. Next we move on. Minutes to be approved.
And I would not be moving to the remarks of the public.
On the agenda item.
Sorry we made,
Next we have, thank you, Mr. O'Malley. No, I'm definitely not trying to leave out the public on purpose. Remarks of the public on agenda items, only 2 minutes, please.
And we have as much as,
Please state your name and your street, as the charter states, for the record.
it doesn't say the street.
Just says his address, man.
All right. Anyway, I know there was some discussion. My time,
No, your time is not name and address.
It's still the same, anyways. Just the right for the road. Anyway, there was some discussion in reference to ordinance 5-20. I don't have my glasses on. In reference to Cooney's that contract of doing business, I guess, in the county. It's my understanding that the contract that we have with them, they have to, this year, they have to renegotiate and what have you. So I would like someone to articulate those norms that are required, and I don't know how long we have had Cooney's doing the assistant in the county, the city. So, and I know we were saying, I think someone we had asked before to go out for bid for this. And so if you have them already retained their services for this year or ends, I don't know what contract you entered into, whether 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever the case may be. So I would like someone to elucidate on that when it comes up, or before you vote on it. I think that needs to be answered. Whereas whether we still have they are providing service to us, and whether their service ends this year, which is 2020, or ended 2019. So if it had ended 2019, because I did not hear about 2020, it was 2019. So, whom are you going to, or are you going to retain them for 2020, whatever, or not? Still need to watch.
Thank you, sir.
Sherman Fitzpatrick, 1884 Hillside.
Thank you.
And I'm looking at this too. So the total cost is $202,000 or whatever. Nothing's been paid on it? But for the total, for the 3 years. And 18 and 19 have passed, so nothing's been paid on it? Or is this the total amount for all 3 of those years?
You know, we answer after this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson, from 436 Terrace Road. So it's saying that they are, same ordinance, it's saying that they are gonna audit 2018, 19, and 2020, and we're gonna pay them $202,000 to audit those 3 years. It seems that we've already paid them to audit years before that, I think, if I'm correct. That's all fine, but like Mr. Mays was saying, this should be going out for bids. $202,000 is a lot of money. I would advise the council not to vote on passing this, because, well, even though you're not voting today, but because it's such a large sum of money. If it goes out for bid, you never know, we may can get a cheaper rate from someone else. So that's a huge amount of money. And I understand that they're used to our books and they can probably do it faster, and there's a few little things that they may do that others can't do, but it needs to go out for bid because we can probably get a cheaper price. And I believe it should and it must go out for bid. I don't even know if we have an option.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
A question before we get started. I'm looking at 0520.
Another
Agenda items on.
Well,
Well, I can wait for her. I need to get some clarification.
Agenda items on
For now,
Public
and at the end, you can talk about it.
Well, where's the agenda, please?
On the back there,
Yeah.
under remarks and questions of the public.
Yeah, what's different between our first information 0520 with Cooley and Nietzsche, and then 0520?
One of them is an ordinance, the other one is a resolution.
Okay.
Right, thank you. Next we have minutes to be approved. Dr. Guy, please.
Have all the minutes in your packet with the exception of contract and property. Put that on the next agenda. First one is January 21st, regular council. We have January 28th, personnel appointments. February 4th, regular council. February 11th, health and safety. And February 11th, finance. You have a motion to approve or not?
So we have the February 6, 2020 contracts and properties still not available. I entertain a motion or not from my colleagues to accept the minutes that we have or table them until we have the February 6, 2020 contracts and property.
I make a motion to allow the minutes that we have in our possession to be approved and move forward.
Do I have a second? Hearing no second, the minutes are tabled until the next meeting. Dr. Guy will present the February 6, 2020 contracts and property. Okay. Next we have reports and announcements from Mayor Brandon L. King. Mayor King.
Thank you, Council President. As you all know, this is Black History Month. This will be our last meeting, and thankfully, it's the last time I have to say, in honor of our elder statesman, Councilman Nathaniel Martin, I have some Black history tidbits that I have actually printed out for you. Copies are up here, and the reason I printed out and chose these, I will try to relate it to our present day council and our great city. On one side, it talks about Toussaint L'Ouverture, who led the slave uprising in Saint Domingue, which is now Haiti. As many of you know, and some may not know, that it was the successful uprising led by L'Ouverture that led France to sail the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States. So it is on here, and I have copies if you want to see it there. Successful uprising. On the other side is Denmark Vesey. Many of you know the story of Denmark Vesey and the uprising in which he tried. There was a plot, 1822, in Charleston, South Carolina. This plot was foiled, right? However, it shows a successful uniting of slaves at this point, in which it was over 1,000 of them had come together in order to revolt, in order to make a difference and make a change. It was foiled basically from the inside. And as you read it and as I relate it to the city of East Cleveland and what we're doing as elected officials, let's not sabotage ourselves from the inside. Let's try to be L'Ouverture and think of Haiti. Think of how we can all work together to make this a great city, city of East Cleveland. So again, copies are up here. Now I'll quickly go through my talking points. So last Thursday I had my first Tele-Town Hall community conversation. Great conversation, the first one I did, and still getting feedback on that. So stay tuned, we'll try to do those every other month or so. Last night at the NOAA meeting, we had Cleveland State University there, many of you were there, to do the charrettes to help us advance this city and complete our visioning plan for the city. Again, visioning, highest and best use, land use, master plan, rebuilding East Cleveland. A couple of points that I'm very proud of, because I and basically all of council as a team saw some of this stuff happen, working together. And one is the HUD press conference at the McGregor. So the 202 projects are back. I won't go into a long definition as to what that is, but last week HUD had a press release, press conference to announce that HUD had been given, I want to say it was close to $4 million to increase affordable senior living, independent senior living up at their beautiful campus. Today, the Sandusky Fire Department was here to speak to us in regards to things that they're doing around fire safety and community safety, particularly at commercial industrial properties. And council was there, that was today. So hopefully we get to move that forward and create legislation at some point that will enable us to have a better grasp on commercial properties around the city, particularly those that are vacant and owners aren't doing anything with them. And with that, I hope you got an email, and I'll verbally give an invite now. So I know you heard me mention before about many advisory groups that I have, or the city has, to help us think through the revitalization efforts of the city. So tomorrow is a meeting of the advisory group, right? And again, I'm inviting council out, as I did today. It is for informational purposes only. It is my meeting, and I'm inviting you for information only. It's not a council meeting.
What time and what place tomorrow?
So it is in the afternoon tomorrow. Please see me afterwards. I will give you time and location as to this event. And if anyone needs a ride, you can. I'm more than welcome to ride down with myself. Right, so that's no problem. I actually swore in some more safety forces, 3 police officers and 2 traffic reconstructionists that will help reconstruct accidents. Briefly, the street lights are here. We're still developing a plan to get these lights up. And on the list, the Tri-C Access Center kickoff, stay tuned. Special Purpose Grant 33 is coming your way. Please encourage residents and others who are in need of jobs to visit the East Cleveland Public Library. Ohio Means Jobs is there. There are a ton of jobs available. There's resume writing. There's job training. So you can actually develop a career by going to the East Cleveland Public Library. They will train you for the job. ODOT was here last week to discuss the crosswalk study, the grant that we were awarded as a result of the governor's visit and the relationship that we have established with Governor Mike DeWine. Good news also from that conversation is the RTA lights. So we may be adding another light to our traffic control simply to get buses in and out of the Windermere Rapid Station. And I'd like to thank Miss Audrey Wynn, because I had Census 2020 on here, so get involved. And before I forget, also up on the table is, we're asking you for your help. Here's a survey that will help with our visioning plan. Please feel free to take these, give them to your neighbors, fill them out. You can return them to my office, you can return them to council. These are surveys for our visioning plan, what you would like to see this city become in East Cleveland. So, unless there are any questions or concerns, that concludes my report. Please fill out the surveys.
When are they due, Mayor?
By the end of this month, the visioning plan won't be completed, I think, until April, but we'd like to have these back as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we have receipts of communication from the East Cleveland Visioning Project.
No, that, Mary talked about that already.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Guys. Next, we have reports from council committees. The next regular city council meeting will be Tuesday, March 3rd at 6:30, right here in these very chambers. The next agenda review meeting will be Thursday, February 27th at 6:30, right here in these very chambers. Council committees, contracts and property, Councilman Austin.
Yes, thank you, sir. I chair the Contracts and Property Committee. We met on February the 6th at 6:30 p.m. in this room. We discussed the CEPA, which is the Competition and Contracting Act, to discuss the opportunities our residents or any person has that wants to do business with the city, that it should be fair and open. And we discussed some particulars about fair and open contract competition. We also discussed the Anti-Kickback Act, informing our residents or those that do business with our city that whatever the contract agreed upon number is the number that you should actually receive. You owe no one in the city anything. If you are the person that wins the bid, then you win all of the bids. There's no return on investment except for the service or the good that we contract with the individual. Just as a reminder, we also discussed the Community Development Block Grant funding and the use thereof, what it can be used for and what we should expect the Community Development Block Grant funds to be used for in the future, to include doing some reconstruction and or rehabilitation of some of the properties within the city that qualify. Due to a limited allocation, we want to make sure we select the property with the most benefit to the community as well as return on investment to the city. The committee is responsible for community development as well as economic development within the community. We are working to very closely with the Building and Housing Department to bring forth some initiatives and search out grants that would help us in the future so we get to our goals sooner. The plan is to improve the quality of life for our residents. That's the goal of the community, our community. We also discussed completing the surveys for use of the Community Development Block Grant Fund. I believe that window may be closed. Is that right there? The use of Community Development Block Grant Fund. We
Yes.
sent those surveys out. So
Yes,
that
those
window's closed
surveys
now.
are done.
Right. We also discussed visioning surveys. Please complete your visioning survey because what is important to you, what made you love East Cleveland, these are the types of questions that are on the visioning survey. And what would you like to see? You know, if there's a park that we all love, identify that park and what you'd like to see that park grow into. Subject to your question and or concern, Brother President, that's all I have for contracts and property.
Thank you, Councilor Austin. Next, we have Health and Safety, Councilman Martin.
Yes, Health and Safety met February 11th in this room at 5:30. We had a very rich discussion. This thick document is the pursuit policy that the East Cleveland Police adhere to for the most part. We discussed it in depth. It's pretty long. I'll summarize it the best I can. Chief Gardner and Captain Lundy provided an update on the status of union negotiations. Union dues are paid through June through 2020, a 1% per year increase the years 2018, 2019, and 2020. We also discussed stop stick devices, which is used if an officer is able to get in front of the pursuit. The apparatus are spikes that will stop an individual in pursuit. The review of the police department policy is on an 11-page document that I just showed to you. We also talked about the 137 shots about 8 years ago situation and how this type of situation will be handled in the future. Gardner, our police chief, Gardner noted initially the safety by blocking the intersections and getting the traffic to stop. Other communities, there is no legal or statutory requirement, but most neighboring communities generally aren't going to know the back streets, so they may want some assistance. I asked objectively going from Euclid to Idaho, should the speed limit be reduced? Our police chief Gardner articulated that he felt that we should reduce the speed limit. You know that all policies are being reviewed as best practices. The International Chief of Police Standard Policies, best practice policies. The mayor noted that he wasn't sure what is being asked, but the 137 shot case was very unfortunate set of mishaps. Started as a call with someone shooting at the police. Well, it wasn't someone shooting at the police. A car backfired down near the Justice Center, and they thought it was a shot. And they shot through shot up to Heritage and shot 2 innocent people. Calvin Williams, the police chief of Cleveland, stated that publicly, and this I heard on the radio where we talked about it, that sometimes they have to do a chase. Certain situations, also our chief of staff Smedley knew that we chased in Cleveland sometimes, the west side. In some cases we get away, but not that often. Foot chases, apprehend. Once any community said that the police chases, there are no police chasers. Stop sticks and certain other departments have them. The Ohio State Patrol had a pursuit on 90. Not sure what department used. The State Highway Patrol were able to arrest 3 individuals in the carjacking. That happened recently in the city. Traffic-related offenses are caught up at the city border, and other crimes may be subject to chase. Because of the limitations Cleveland places on pursuits 2 years ago, bank robbery in Cleveland, get notification of vehicles and are armed. EC gets involved in pursuit, gets into Cleveland thinking they will assist, but they didn't. The FBI got involved and even thought the crime started in Cleveland and in Cleveland into Lakewood. These are some of the issues around Chase. The Fire Union update. Here's maybe some good news. on Friday at 8 a.m., a semi hit a pole on Taylor, missing 2 wheels on the passenger side. It knocked the pole and control light at Taylor and Euclid. First Energy, ODOT, and they worked with them to get the lights back on. And that was some real good work. They got it real fast. Stanwood and Euclid light went out, and it's working now to get the lights back, all the lights back on. Working with First Energy, we had some difficult discussions about Hayden, because we have lights out there. There have been crews out for the past week to deal with control boxes and lines, charged per fixture in excess of energy. We then work on a credit from First Emergency for paying for the fixtures that did not work. I think the mayor and them found out some money that we should have been getting that we didn't get from was the First Energy. As you mentioned there, well, that was some good news. A resident commended East Cleveland on the response to the semi-truck situation. We had to remove the cargo. The cargo spilled all over the street and all the axles. It took about 12 hours to remove the traffic trailer due to relationship the mayor built. Had a meeting with ODOT regarding grants to pay Euclid and traffic signals. Went over the scope of the work for that grant. It should be awarded. That grant is coming up. It's a pedestrian right-of-way and crosswalks, bringing back some of our traffic signals. We also want to thank Governor DeWine for working together for the past 4 months. The last thing that we discussed, and we vote on this tonight, is the Health and Human Service Levy, which affects everybody in here. It's a first read. And I'll say something a little bit more about that. But it's a little increase, but it definitely helps everybody. Basically, that's a summary of our meeting. And we had a lot of input from the citizens to ask questions in that. I would say, objectively, that the police chase is a real difficult situation, and it's a lot of times with the discretion of the police, whatever policies in place. So we're very cautious about chases and other police departments chasing through our community. So hopefully we can do better with that. But we've been discussing this, the chase ever since these incidents happened recently in our city. Mr. Chairman, that concludes health and safety.
Thank you very much, Councilman Martin. I, Ernest L. Smith, Chair of the Finance Committee. We last met on February 11, 2020. All members of council were present. On that committee is myself, Councilman Austin, and Councilman Stevenson. So I really want to thank my colleagues for attending. Also, Mayor King was there and our law director was there. We discussed the monthly financial report. We also discussed ordinance number 05-20, which is an opportunity to catch up on our credit rating with Kunichi and Punichi. I'm saying that right. Kunichi and Punichi.
You close.
Close. Right. Ordinance number 05-20 is an extension on an already existing limited 10-year contract that we've had since the year 2011 to audit our financial statements for the year 2018, 2019, and 2020 with the cost of $202,360 to be paid over a 3-year period. So tonight that's on the agenda for tonight. It's a first read. Our next Finance Committee meeting will be March 10th at 6:30, right here in these very chambers. As I say each and every week, our committee meetings are very, very important, and I beg of you all to attend. That's where we hash out a lot of the nooks and crumbs, get a lot of we more free flow with the audience participation, and is just as important as the regular council meeting. Matter of fact, before you even get to the regular council meeting, all information has to go through the committee meeting. So we really invite you all to come to the committee meetings, not only just to come, but to put you all's input in. Thank you. Next we have General Services, Council Vice President, Corinne Stevens.
Our next meeting, actually our first meeting will be Thursday, February 19th at 5:30.
Thank you very much.
Correction, the date is the 20th. Falls on Thursday.
Thank you, Dr. Guy. Thank you, Council Vice President. Next we have Personnel and Appointments, Councilwoman Gowdy.
My next personnel appointment meeting will be here Tuesday, February the 25th at 6:30.
Thank you very much. Next we have proclamations.
There are none.
Thank you. Bids.
There are none.
Thank you. We move on to legislation. Dr. Guy, please.
Okay, ordinance number 05-20 is the first read, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to extend the contract with Feeney and Cucini, an independent public accounting firm, IPA, to audit the city of East Cleveland's 2018, 2019, and 2020 financial statements for a total cost of $202,360 over the course of 3 years, requested by the finance director and sponsored by Ernest L. Smith, council president. We have resolution number 02-20. The first read, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Pamela O'Neill at a cost of $25 a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land utilization program and located at 1838 Wesley, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112. Permanent parcel number 672-20029, requested by Building and Housing and sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Councilor at Large. We have resolution number 03-20, a first read, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Jason Shaner under the Neighbor Next Door ordinance and at a cost of $100 a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 14005 Ardnall, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112. Permanent parcel number 671-10205. Requested by the Building and Housing Department and sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Councilor at Large. Resolution number 04-20 is a first read, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Lily Hunter under the Neighbor Next Door ordinance and at a cost of $100 a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 13612 Milan, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112. Permanent parcel number 671-04116, requested by Building and Housing Department, sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Councilor at Large. Resolution number 05-20 is the first read, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Jacqueline L. King under the Neighbor Next Door ordinance and at a cost of $100 a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 1744 Coit, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112, permanent parcel number 673-04048, requested by the Building and Housing Department and sponsored by Timothy Austin, Councilor at Large.
Thank you, Dr. Guy. Before you move on to the next one, Councilman Austin, these all bear your name. Do you have any discussion?
All of the persons that are listed requesting to either purchase or have basically they're all purchasing. But to make a long story short, they all have been taking care of the property and agreed to do some great things. And some of them are even going to have custody of the property and give back to the community by establishing a community garden. So I commend these residents for coming forward to continue to take care of our city, make it better for all of us, and I think it's a good opportunity for all of us.
Thank you, Councilman. Next, Dr. Guy, please.
And lastly, we have resolution numbers 06-20, first read, a resolution to support the replacement of Cuyahoga County's current 3.9 mil levy with a 4.7 mils for health and human services. Requested requested by Nathaniel Martin, Councilor at Large, and sponsored by Nathaniel Martin, Councilor at Large.
Councilman Martin.
Yeah, basically what this does is, it's a health and human service levy. This is the 5 categories that it covers, the 5 groups. Children who are at risk of abuse and neglect, people with mental illness or an addiction, people with serious health issues, victims of crime, and senior citizens and people with disabilities. This is what this covers. It's vitally important. That concludes that.
Thank you very, very much. That concludes our legislation. Next we have remarks and requests of the public. 3 minutes, please.
My name is Patricia. I'm sorry, 1744 Stratford. I wasn't gonna say anything today, but it kind of hit my heart. I wasn't at the meeting, but I did watch the East Cleveland channel, and Smith told me something that's near and dear to my heart. A councilman called my child's father a child molester. What? If you don't know, I was molested as a child. I'm in my 30s. This is the father of my child that you're talking about, with my daughter sitting right there in his arms. So when he came home and told me that, you are an elected official, Juanita Gotti, and you said it not once, but twice. I've been molested all my life as a child, and didn't think that I could have a child. So she is a blessing to me. How dare you say that? No, please. You said it twice, and it's on TV. And I hope this is on TV also. From the time I was 2 to the time I was 16. How dare you call him a child molester? And he has a 5-month-old daughter. How would you feel if somebody called your family a child molester? That hurt my family so much. And I said I wasn't going to practice my childness in this room. But I couldn't hold back tears because that's something that's very emotional to me. I got sick because I started having dreams about my molester again. He was my so-called father. That's how I got sick. That's how I have seizures now. Because I have dreams about that particular situation. And I know you're not looking at me because you should be ashamed of yourself. That's all I have to say. No.
Well, I was just going to add, Terry A. Tofrey, 14511 Cherish Road, East Cleveland, Ohio. Maybe about 35, 40 years ago, there were some, they looked like comic books, but they weren't. Somebody put together history of what looked like comic books of Black history. And at some point I found out about Toussaint Louverture. There was a black fellow, he was a conservative. And I didn't see it in the book, but I finally put together what Toussaint Louverture had done and then the Louisiana Purchase, and I called the guy, he's deceased I think, on the radio, that he put together. I learned what's not here is how much we paid for it. In a book I bought for about $2. It was called, quote, The Rise of the American Nation, unquote, somewhere in the house. And we paid, thanks to Toussaint Louverture beating up the guy from France, we paid about a little over $14 million for that little bit of land.
Alright, I came up there.
What's your name and
I'm sorry, Dawn Chilcutt Steele, 1848 Rosamond.
I'm calling about the parking signs. I found out today because I'm looking out my window. I'm parking in my driveway. So I pay taxes here. Got people who don't pay taxes, they renters, and they get to park on the street. And it's not being enforced. And I'm a little bit curious as to why haven't I seen any parking tickets on the cars. Then I found out there's no ordinances on the parking signs. So that doesn't make it legal. So now I have an issue with, was my tax dollars wasted on signs that is absolutely not legal. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, when I'm being harassed by Rita and I pay my property taxes, I don't feel like no renter should be able to leave their car on the street and not get ticketed. That ain't fair to me or my family, and I don't like it. And then I got a host of other problems too. Like I sat down the first time because I came in at the wrong time, but I did want to say something about that tax audit situation. I hope that's not going past 10 years after the 2021, and I would hope that you all would not sign another contract that would be a 10-year contract. That is absolutely asinine, okay? Because 10 years, you don't know what the financial state will be of the city. And to make that kind of commitment to somebody for 10 years is crazy. And then another thing is, we sitting here at the council meeting and that phone won't stop ringing. And I find that crazy. I barely come, but that's kind of rude. That's about all I have to say, but I will be back because I think it's some things that need to be like worked out and checked on.
What's your name again, man?
It's Dawn, D-A-W-N-E, Steele, S-T-E-E-L-E, 1848 Roslyn.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Ms. Roslyn. I mean, thank you, Ms. Roslyn.
No problem.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank y'all for allowing me to come. I'm Ms. Wilson from Wilson's House of Mondays. We're celebrities in the hood, yeah. We're keeping the legend alive through my uncle. But I have other issues at the restaurant and where I stay at. Where I stay at, my landlord has given this young guy, 31 years old, I'm 61. 31 years old, he's got a studio downstairs from me. I'm on Section 8, he is too. He got 5 people staying in his house, not on the lease. I can't park nowhere, I gotta park on Hampton. I stay on Elwood and Shaw, right there on the corner. I gotta park on Hampton where the dope house is at, all the druggies is at. And walk to my house late at night when I get off work. Because I can't park in my driveway because he got his roonies up in my driveway with a garage at, with a no parking sign at, only for tenants. I'm the only one with a vehicle. I can't park on the street because of the new signs, because I'm scared I might get a ticket. So I gotta park somewhere else, all the way over there. And I'm a female, getting off work, and I pass by all these drugs that already broken my car twice, tried to steal my company vehicle twice. Now, I have another reason, I have another problem. I'm trying to get this guy out of this house. Landlord gave me too many eviction notices and too many chances. Okay, I can understand you being linky, but that linky, that's too linky up under my head. Where I can't get no rest at night. I gotta constantly, I just can't left the police station today getting this long list of rap sheet on him to take to Section 8, take to the prosecutor, so I can press charges on my neighbor downstairs to get him out of my way. So I can get a restraining order on him because he put a gun out on me and my husband. Ooh, okay, then he gonna when the police come, he told the police, oh, I got a paper to carry this. So that gives you a reason to pull a gun out on us because you're making noise downstairs. We can't even hear our TV in the living room. So now I practically live out of my bedroom. Now I'm in my bedroom, 14505 Shaw Avenue, upstairs. I'm Kenneth Ferguson's sister. My brother has many properties in East Cleveland, and he gives too many people chances. I'm ready to get up out of this house. Okay? I don't like moving like a gypsy. I'm too old to move. Now, this problem I had yesterday. My cousin, young girlfriend, my cousin Jay Sean Wilson is in the hospital. He's got a lot of medical problems wrong with him now. I don't care about that. I got medical problems too. It's called epilepsy, and I had it real bad. real bad. His woman jumped me yesterday in the restaurant. Because he's in the hospital, he told her to go and season the tamale mix. He didn't tell her to take control of the restaurant, because I'm the manager. But she comes to my face, put her hands in my face. Where's the mayor at? Where's the mayor at? She put her hands in my face. I backed up. She kept coming in my face like this. I backed up. I said, please get your hand on my face. So I was able to turn around and she decked me. Right here. Where I got contusions in my face. I turned around and walked away and she kept beating me in my head. Beat me in my head. And I passed out. When I passed out, it was 3 people in there. They would not help me off the floor. I called the police. She told them to tell the police. Didn't that happen? The police turned this thing off and told me what to do. Turned this camera off and told me what to do because they sabotaged me. So he wrote assault on my report order. They told me to press charges, come up here and press charges and get a restraining order. Now, wait a minute. She gonna tell them that she didn't touch me. But then when I turned around, was about to go, all her fake nails was embedded in my hat. When she was punching me in my head. And he asked me, ma'am, do you wear blue nails? You got blue nails? I said, no. He said, well, you got nails all in your hat. I said, those are her nails when she said she didn't touch me. You understand what I'm saying? I spent the night in the emergency room up on observation last night for seizures. I couldn't stop seizing. As this lady hit me in my head. I was in the hospital all weekend long for seizures. Monday I come to work and I get beat up in my head. I'm too old to be fighting these young folks. Understand what I'm saying? I got a restraining order on me for 5 years from a landlord. I didn't do nothing to. She got mad because she wanted to evict me, and the judge gave me 2 more months on her because she tried to evict me up under my Section 8 lease. I was still on my lease. So the judge said, I'm giving her 2 more months. Why would you do this to this lady? So she's scared. She said she was scared for her life and put a restraining order on me. I got a restraining order on me for no reason at all right now. Every time I come,
unfortunately,
this minute is over with.
Yeah, but 1 second.
It's too
One
much.
thing our mayor loves to stay after, and definitely he will listen to you. Definitely.
This is a major problem. Like I was trying to have somebody to listen to me and hear my
also,
problem out.
this your councilwoman. She definitely will make sure you get information, and definitely.
I'm not even finished talking, but
I know.
I have so much to say.
Like, I let you do an extra minute because I didn't want to cut you off at all. I'm sorry. Definitely sorry.
Shirley Fitzpatrick, 1884 Hillside Avenue. Just a couple of reminders to the community. Today is the last day to register to vote. Update your address or name, and you can go to vote.org. You can do it online. That's really the only way you can do it if you want to register. Early voting starts tomorrow at the Board of Election, 2925 Euclid Avenue. And in regards to the census, Audrey, who was here today, she'll be doing a census meeting for anybody that's at Helen S. Brown. She'll be doing that February 28th at 1 o'clock. And then on March 4th, I'll be doing a presentation at the Owl's Nest at 1 o'clock. If anybody wants information about the census jobs, I have information. The last day you can put in online for a census job is March 2nd. And a couple more things. Last week I asked how many officers are on the third shift. We have break-ins, and we very seldom see East Cleveland. Well, we're starting to see them now because I've talked to Chief Gardner. But I just want to know how many police officers are on that third shift. Lately, I've been hearing a lot of activity around where I live, a lot of police cars. So just want to know that. And then the last thing, there was a CCBG grant that was presented to different organizations in East Cleveland. Was that settled? has everybody been notified if they got the grant or not? Because I know somebody who's still waiting for some answer on did they or did they not get that grant. So I'd like to know that. So if anybody wants this information about the job, I have it. And I'll leave some out there too.
Is that census job?
Census job, Anybody else want one? Because I'll put some on here.
Justin Anderson. 144 Terrace Road.
Speak up.
First, I want to talk about the no signs on these those signs that they put up that says you can't park from 3 to 6.
Doesn't have the ordinance.
It has to have an ordinance on it. So we, like the lady said, we wasted a lot of tax dollars by not putting that ordinance on it. Now, it's two things you can do: reorder the sign one, or get a little piece to attach to it. You know, make a little small sign that just have the ordinance and put it up under it. It's still a waste of money. We just do things so quickly without really thinking things through, and that concerns me. We should have talked with our private attorney and to see if we needed those ordinance, which is clear as day we do. And you cannot write any tickets to these people until that ordinance get up there, because people have the right to decide, do I want to break this ordinance or do I not? Whether they want to receive the punishment or not, that's their choice. So by not having that ordinance up there, you don't give people the opportunity to decide whether they want to break the law or whether they want to follow it. And that's against the law. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the reality. So hopefully someone can address that. We've been waiting for a while for that answers. Also, unmarked police cars. We're being extremely deceptive with our police cars. They're making this dark writing where you can't tell it's a police car. And I've also seen an officer in car number 3116. It's completely unmarked, nothing on it, pulling people over in traffic, which is completely against the law. You can, because we don't know if it's a security guard. We don't know who that is pulling us over if you ain't got nothing on the car. So I've identified a couple of tickets that he's written, Officer Wiggins, and those tickets need to be thrown out. I know it's been brought to the private attorney's attention, and I don't think they want to do anything, but you can't just write these people a ticket and break the law by writing them a ticket and just say, oh, we're just going to forget about it and we'll stop doing it. No, the people who've gotten a ticket in that unmarked police car 3116 should be reimbursed, and the case should be dismissed and expunged or whatever it takes to get it off. So I hope we can visit that, because that's not fair at all. You pulling people over, we don't know who it is, security or not. And the last thing, I hope the council can work together and get some legislation passed and put you all's personal differences to the side. I know you all have personal differences. That's why your ordinance with the speed didn't get passed. You guys argue and do things like that. I hope that you all can work together and seriously get some things done, because we got to be professional, all of you, each and every one of you. And the CGB. Oh, sorry. I wanted to say sorry about the story I heard from Ernest Smith's spouse, because that is sad to hear, and my heart goes out to her, and hope she doesn't have to deal with that.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Kelvin Irving, 14802 Elm Avenue. My concern is about a unmarked car doing radar on Euclid Avenue in the school zone. You have an unmarked car doing radar at, no, I forget it, it's practicing whatever the new school is, I don't know. First of all, we didn't allow that when the votes came to put these red light cameras in. You have a mobile unit, but we didn't authorize a officer to be there. So now, since that we have a officer here, this should go back to a vote to remove, keep, or adjust, because this is not what was in the agreement when we first voted for it. This is something added to a contract. And when you change the contract, that whole operation should have been put back in front of all of us, the people. Point of order. We left all of that mess with other counselors. And you all are new, and some of you have been here for years. You all know how to get at people, and you know some of this stuff can lead to more personal problems than victories. Please be mindful, respectful, and yes, some of us can take it above and beyond. None of us are ever perfect. None of us work harder than those that come home and see this blight, disrespect, and dismay. We have enough power to make it go forward, and let's not lose that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
When did the council, when did you receive the minutes that you did not pass tonight? And secondly, council meetings, whether they are regular, special, or executive meetings, this is where council meets. This is the public place for council to meet, not this place or that place. And take care of city business is here, not somewhere else. And if you're going out on, I'll say this again, an executive, you have to call an executive meeting, or going into executive session, rather, put it that way. You must only discuss what you went into the executive meeting to discuss. Nothing else, other than that you have violated the law itself. And you cannot vote in the executive session. So if it was only about personnel, that's all you discuss, nothing else. Cannot discuss anything else. And I am saying that for the edification of the young members of this council, and not some of the older have been here and you still probably doesn't know either. Chasing cars, or what have you, there should be an ordinance that you can pass that it must either be homicide or drunk driver or whatever the case may be, something serious. To cities and stipulate in that ordinance that you're going to put in place. Other cities have to honor the laws that you make in your city. They have laws. A lot of other cities have laws that you cannot do hot chasing in their city, unless it, as I stipulated, whether it's homicide or of that nature, and you're in pursuit. And then you must notify the city, and that city will take pursuit of what have you of that person in their city, high pursuit. And there must be stipulated in the ordinance that in residential area that you will adhere to and not flying through there chasing a person. Same go with commercial areas. There are laws, not only the Ohio Revised Code also addresses some of these issues. Because people are getting killed and what have you as a result of this high-speed chasing. Parking. During my tenure on this council, we eradicated a lot of streets. I don't know the particular street you're speaking of. I will look it up and you give me the name of that street. I will look it up and see whether we eradicated parking, whereas people could have, not eradicated, but permitted them to park on various streets. Because when I first came to East Cleveland, moved into this city, basically every city in this city, you could not park over 24 hours. You had to be moved. They booted you, or your car or whatever, you could not move. So we changed those laws, so I will look into that and I'll let you know whether that street where you live on has one of those streets you can park 24 hours.
Thank you, Mr. O'Mage. Ms. Walcott.
Excuse me, Gladys Walcott, 13319 3rd Avenue. Good evening, Mayor, Law Director, and Council members. It was, almost forgot what I was going to talk about because it was just kind of a stressful expressions here tonight. But hopefully that, it'll get straightened out. And you will give some answers to the people that have some issues, major issues. Let's see, well, I'll get the advisory council meeting from the mayor after the meeting. I think he indicated that. In addition to that, I want to commend you, Mayor, for the teleconference town hall meeting. I listened to it. I had questions, but I figure I come to council meetings so I can ask my questions right here at the podium. So I would leave it to those people that don't attend. Leave the space for them. But it was, it's a great idea to do that. So I commend you for that. Also, I know there were a number of parcels that were allotted to folks on the agenda this evening. But I'm wondering if they do not do what they proposed in order to receive the lot, what is the window of time that's in the agreement that says if you don't complete the project within 2 years, or if you don't complete the project within 1 year, then I know there used to say that then it goes back to the city.
That's correct.
So I don't know what the rules are in that, but I'm sure you know, Mr. Austin, so you can let me know what that is, please. Also, but I just want to know that that we enforce that. Don't just give the land away and people say they're going to do something and then nothing happens. And it remains the same. Because that don't help our city. Also, I agree with Councilman O'Mays. There is a rule. I know there are streets that's no parking. There are streets that's parking because I just had the sign put on asking to put the sign on my street on 3rd Avenue. It's no parking on the street after a certain hour. And if there are cars parked on the street after a certain hour, there are people on the street that will report it to the police department. Because I don't think they drive down the streets anymore too much looking for people that have parked after 3 a.m. or whatever the hour is. I'd also like to announce that EC Groves Community Garden, we're having our annual meeting on the 14th of March at East Cleveland Library in the lower hall. So it's an annual meeting, membership meeting. If anyone is interested in joining, put that on your calendar and please attend that meeting. If you cannot attend that meeting, then we'll be at the garden after that every Wednesday and Saturday, at least by 10 a.m. in the morning. The garden is located right across the street from Court Road, the 85-year-old Court Road Farmers Market. So I think everybody needs Cleveland.
What time is your EC Garden meeting on the 14th? 11
a.m. in the lower auditorium at the library. Which line item is the, I don't know what is professional service, ordinance 0520. Which line item in the budget is that indicated? The $202,000 for 3 years. I don't know. I was looking through the budget, but I don't remember which line item it would be in, whether it's professional services or contracts or whatever. Okay, and I just want to say to people that when they say the council is arguing about certain things, you don't look at it as an argument. It's just voicing their opinion. and they have difference of opinion, and I'm happy about that. I would never want to work with someone that thinks the same way all the time, and everybody on the board thinks the same way. So we need to have differences of opinion, and you need to be able to express that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walcott.
But with respect.
With respect.
Hello, my name is Ernestine Phillips. I live at 1869 Hastings. This is my first council meeting, so I'm learning all about what's going on. I really don't have a lot of complaints. I think one of our neighbors.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
We have a first time with you.
I'm sorry about that.
Some of our issues on our street were addressed by Dave already, but I talked to my council lady, and she is really trying to help me with the house next door to me because people are going to keep breaking into their house, and it's abandoned. And I know a lot of the rodent problem is coming from that trash. Y'all say it's private property. I know, and y'all can't go on it. Y'all did get the trash from the side of the house, but that backyard, it has a lot of trash in it. And I actually had to go get a cat this weekend. I got mice, and I'm single, and I can't live like that. But I do thank you for the response time of the police, because somebody broke in the house last week, and the police did come and handle the situation. And I have talked to some of the elderly in the neighborhood, and some of the elderly don't come out to the meeting because they do see them on the East Cleveland channel, and they say that there's no unity. So I'm telling they said, well, you younger now, so you go do the work that we used to do. So I think if they see more unity on the panel and more professionalism, they probably will come out. I have been talking to a lot of elderly, not just in Ward 4, Ward 3, I know a lot of people like that. So, and I also wanted to know one more thing, Roses, the store, that's one of the biggest stores in East Cleveland that gets all the business. When you walk in Roses, you got the ceiling leaking, the parking lot is jacked up, and I keep calling this one number I've been calling for a whole year, and they keep on saying, we'll get back to you, we'll get back to you. They've been saying for a whole year. That store is falling apart, and they get all the money, because that's where our elderly have to go. That's where we have to go. Something needs to be done about it. And that's basically all I have to say, and I will be praying for all of you.
Thank you very, very much. Make sure you come back.
I'll be back.
All right.
You'll be back. I'm back. My name is Paul Clinton Davis Jr. I live at 13855 Superior. I had a dream.
Okay, Mark.
And the dream told me I went to the wrong person to ask about that elevator out there. Told me I should have came to him. And the reason why Mayor Brandon King couldn't tell me, because he said he didn't come to me. So I said, I'll let that go. I ain't gonna worry about the elevator. Another thing is, I don't belong to no clubs, no gangs. I go to meetings. Nobody runs me, tell me what to do. I have learned that when you want something done, especially for the white folks out there, you don't ask them, you tell them. If you ask them, you ain't gonna get nothing. Trust me. Y'all got to remember, you're black. This is black history. I might look like I'm white, but I ain't. I'm proud to be black. All you people, excuse me, was over here one day. Y'all standing over here before you got over there. So I don't have to come and tell y'all what's going on over here. Y'all already know, because you've been over here. Him too. You know, you just like, supposed to be, maybe y'all don't know it, but you part of Jesus Christ's disciples. He didn't pay them no money. You get that elevator fixed, I'm going to get you a raise. But all jokes aside, I go to no meeting. I just go. They meetings. Like this meeting. My name is not on this meeting. It says East Cleveland. It's not my meeting. It's East Cleveland's meeting. I wish people would understand that. I'm here because I want to help us black people. Right, my brother? We want to help our children. I keep telling y'all, it ain't about y'all, it's about our children. Don't be for us, what could our children do? You see them kids over where they fight at? Yesterday I saw a dead baby froze to death. I said, come on. Run around, these kids run around killing each other. It's terrible, come on. You know what the problem is? They said you couldn't pray in here. They said that y'all can go out together and have dinner together. That's what they told me. But the white men don't want y'all to go out together. Because they figure y'all scheming on him. But we black people, we know how to eat together, talk about God. If you don't do that, ain't nothing gonna happen to this city. Come on, it's about praying.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel.
Praying comes first. Then you vote.
Appreciate you.
Law is still 1848 Roslyn. I just had like 1 or 2 more comments. On
Oh, wait a minute,
Roslyn-
excuse me, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You spoke at this portion of the meeting already, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can't speak.
Where is that in law? You see it in writing?
Trust me.
Ain't no trust
He'll
me.
show
I
it,
need to
he'll
see
show it to you.
No, because somebody need to tear that house down. I mean, I feel like I'll come to me, but I will show back up. Don't worry about it. I'll be back.
That's
right, Don. Oh, you know I'm coming back.
You should stick around and hear the responses.
Huh?
You should stick around and hear some of our responses. That's what some people do. They come in and hit and run. You should stick around.
I'm going to listen.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you because you could have been anywhere else. Next we have response of the mayor and council to the remarks of the public. Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you, Council President. I'll try to keep it brief. Thank you for coming out. First council meeting. Ms. Phillip. Ms. Wilson, we say it up here all the time. Press charges. I did. You gotta press charges. Gotta follow through. I'm hoping that you got video in the store, in the restaurant.
They don't even have no video. Somebody broke in the store and stole all our video cameras. I'm like,
Please,
dead
press
out here.
charges. That is so not right.
It's so
Just trying to work and earn a living. Press charges and follow through with that, please.
I got everything. Listen, I got everything right here. But the man downstairs, he's trying to kill me and my husband. And he's got a job at my job. And they know what I'm going through at home. And they hired this man.
Listen, Miss Wilson, I'll be around as always. I'll be around after you want to chat some more. In regards to parking on city streets, in the Green Bible, there may be, I believe it's less than a dozen streets that you can't park on. And as a general rule, if you think of a street with apartments, you can park on the street. If you think of streets with houses, individual houses with driveways, no 24-hour parking, right? This is in the Green Bible, and I had to look at it because it actually lists the street. And so that we are all on the same page, it is your neighbors that have called because there are people parking on the street at all hours, sitting in the cars, doing a whole lot of nothing, right?
Yes.
And your residents, your neighbors are tired of it.
Yes.
Right?
Amen.
So please be mindful of that. And we're not out here ticketing hard-working residents, tax-paying residents. That's not what that's about. My lady, I'm embarrassed for you, and I'm sorry. I've been up here, and I've been called every name in the book, and talked about my mother. I feel your pain. I would ask that as elected officials, we rise above all that. If that come from out there, that's one thing. But we are the elected officials. We resort to that, right? My father once told me, he said, everybody is somebody's somebody. And that time that happened to the clerk, that was my wife. Come on. What would you do? So as elected officials, I would ask that we always remember we're held to a higher standard. Right? We rise above all that. Let's continue to work together. And remember our Black History note for the day. Right? Destroy themselves from within. From within. In the Denmark Festival. Right? Let's be low mature and succeed. Be the role model for other African American communities in these great states.
Amen.
And finally, looking at it, it is Chuni and Panichi. Chuni and Panichi is the accounting firm. And there's no fear for that because per state law, they can only be a city's auditors for 10 years. So it's a contract that's passed once, and then there are clauses to extend the contract. But it can, and they're at their 10-year time period, so we will rebid it after this. Unless there's any questions or concerns, don't forget the survey for the visioning and the census. Unless there's any questions or concerns, Council President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Nathaniel Martin.
Yeah, I want to ask the mayor questions so I'm clear before I make my presentation. It keeps coming up. This is about the second and third meeting about the ordinance on the sign. Can the law director respond to that?
We will look into that.
Okay.
From my understanding, the actual ordinance doesn't need to be posted on the sign, right?
Okay, that I'm not sure about.
We can look into that.
Okay.
And I know we said this before, again and again, if the police pull you over, I suggest you pull over.
That's right. Well, thank you. I rise to speak very briefly. I need to say this, and I feel for Sister Steele and Sister Wilson. And it's ironic that you brought this, because when you think about Denmark Vesey, what happened is similar to what happened with Malcolm X, or Khalid Shabazz, is the fact that one of the struggles that we have is we don't love each other.
Hello?
We fight each other over things like this. We can't reason like intelligent people. I'm looking at this. Yes, a couple of days ago, I went over to a friend's house, and he had a documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X?
Netflix.
Yeah. 4 or 5 parts to it, and I saw most of it too. I had to go. And what stood out was jealousy and envy. Almost similar to trying to pass a 25 mile, jealousy and envy. That has destroyed us within. Denmark Vesey couldn't get the revolution over going because somebody was a snitch and told. Jealousy and envy. Okay? And until we do that, and we call ourselves Christians and say we love each other, but we fighting each other over nonsense,
Amen.
we're not going to go anywhere.
Amen.
The mayor, the council, the police can't solve all this. These are relationships.
That's right, that's right.
These are bad relationships with bad response. This is emotionalism. We're emotional and we're not in control.
That's right.
We've got to change that dynamic. We have rules and regulations for a reason. A reason. I believe that the city's moving in the right direction. It's not perfect, it's flawed, because we're flawed. We do the best we can. But if we're fighting each other over stuff like this and hitting each other on like that, these ain't white folks doing it, this is us.
Amen.
This is us and how we treat each other.
Got that right.
So we talk about praying. Okay, once you get off your knees, you put on an armor to deal with people. If I reacted to all the stuff they say about me and call me names and all like that, I wouldn't be here today. yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Neighbors. We don't talk to each other no more. And when I was going up and get spanked, when I did something wrong 2 or 3 times before I got on, we don't have that no more. We don't have community. Community means to come together.
There's no respect.
Okay, there's no respect. We got to change that. Nobody can change that but us.
But us.
And it starts individually.
But the younger people don't have no respect for the elders like we have.
We got to work with them. And I'm committed to working with them.
You can only go so
okay?
far.
I'm committed to work with them. So, you look at the mayor. He does what he's doing. You look at the council. All 5 of us, we do what we can. But when it comes to relationships, everybody is responsible for what they do, what they say, how they react to different situations.
That's right.
Everybody. We are a unique city. 95% African American, the most unique city in the state of Ohio. If we can't get past the relationships, we can't move forward.
That's right.
They're coming in here because we have the land and we have the location. If we don't unite, they're going to take it over. And all they got to do is buy us out. They got the money. And they want it. So what I'm asking from the bottom of my soul is, come on. Let's be smarter.
That's right.
Let's be wiser. Let's work together. If we have differences, let's sit down and work those differences out. But let's not get caught in foolishness that gets us nowhere. I'm working on myself all the time. All the time. Because I have times when I feel like I want to go off. I've been frustrated by trying to get a 25 mile per hour, but I know what's behind it. But I'm determined, because I'm not going to give up. Because I'm in this city. I'm not planning on going. So I'm working on myself, flawed as I can be, a total trip. But I'm working on myself. I've spoken. Thank you.
Much appreciated, Councilman Martin. Thank you. Councilwoman Juanita Gowdy.
Yes, thank each and every one of you for coming out. And this has been going on ever since I've been in office. I got into my office and it's been drama with our council person ever since and our secretary. And we need to discuss it, but if you're going to throw it out there, I want to, address it. That's my time now. And I'm going to address it. I don't know if this was an act, but I never talked about nobody and called child molester unless he said something about my mother. This has been going on for a long time. My mother been thrown up into conversations on many occasions. I ain't said nothing to nobody. I came into the office one day. Office was tore up to the floor up. And, it's been an attack on me. From the law director all the way down to council. They've been attacking me because of my newspaper. And I was talking about the dewdrop. When I did mention it, when our counselor hollered at me through on TV, want everybody to know it. I was talking about the dewdrop. When I told him, I said, it's the dewdrop. These was underage women. And I got video. So whatever the situation is, even if he fired back or not tonight, it don't matter. Because I'm still going to get my message across to the people, letting you know that I'm fighting for our city, fighting to make it better, fighting for City Hall to make it better. And people don't like change. And that's what it is. We got our counselor take the car home every night, which it shouldn't be like that. We drawed up some rules. The mayor, he said the mayor gave him the car. See, I got texts, I've been emailing, and I keep my documents. This ain't just started here. It started way when I got in my seat. So it's a personal attack on me. And I'm glad that this did come out, because at the end of the day, I'm going to sing my music because I have a clerk that don't want to really did nothing for me, calling the police on me. The mayor even called the police on me. See, this is an attack on me. And it's a personal attack. And I have to get it out because guess what? It didn't start in here. It been started from out there when I took my seat for council. Thank you. And Nathaniel Martin know what I've been through. They even threw this young man out, called the police on him. So this is personal, y'all. So they got their personal agenda. And then every time when we mention somebody that got killed, like the 25 speed limit that we want, their personal agenda got in the way. It didn't pass. For the safety of our community. And then not only that, the young 13-year-old girl got killed. Ernest Smith trying to shut everybody's mouth up, saying, hey, they don't want you to talk about it. Oh, yes, they do. They want you to talk about it because the people that did it was wrong. They came over here and chased in our neighborhood and caused death. And not only hit one person, it hit a couple other people on the way, you know. So this is a shame that we can't get along because personal agenda. In the city, but this is what I have a plane that I'm in, you know, and I'm just, you know, doing me, you know, because 9 times out of 10, the only way this council is going to get fixed when they put away their personal agenda, and that's it. I'm willing to work with anybody up here, but too many personal agendas from the past, and right now is right here. Okay, that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Stevenson, Council Vice President Stevenson.
I sit here and I listen to what everybody says, but I see how everybody acts. All I hear up here is me and they. I never hear we. And until we get to we ain't going nowhere. Until we stop blaming each other, we ain't going nowhere. I voted the way I voted with regard to the 25 miles an hour because I feel, and I'm going to continue to feel, that there should have been a myriad of planning that went into this whole process before those lights came down. This is not personal. I'm voting based on what I know and my knowledge. This is not about me liking anybody or disliking. It is about a process that failed. It failed the city, the Health and Safety Committee failed, and it was a failure. And it's still a failure. And until the planning process takes place, that should have taken place in the beginning, before those lights came down, through the 2 years of discussion that went on with those lights, we're going to remain in the same place. There's no crosswalks out there. There's no crosswalk apparatuses out there. That should have been in place before those lights came down. And we wouldn't be talking about this subject and people's personalities. This is not about you all. It's about the people that live here in this city. And until you realize and act that way, you're going to get what you always got. Now, I have spoken.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Austin.
Thank you, Brother President. I appreciate you. Mayor, Law Director, Councilman Martin.
Are you talking?
President Smith.
Is he saying something?
Councilwoman Dr. Guy, I appreciate the patience and the willingness to accept the things that come across the table that are often not true, not relevant to the people's business. So if you continue to maintain your focus on the people's business, the city is going to thrive. So the voice of one person or their lack of, how can I say, capacity will not define the direction in which we go in the city. I'm going to tell you today for a few reasons. Because we we are a city that experienced exceptional trauma, pain. And it seems that some people cannot receive that trauma and pain and accept responsibility for their contribution to that trauma and or pain. And if I have injured anyone, allow me the opportunity to get it right as soon as possible. In my spirit, I'm in trouble. The council has a responsibility to you, to the residents, to perform in a manner that is professional, that will not wear you down, that will not wear you out, that will not run you away from our city. We are here to indeed provide a service to you. I'm a servant. Don't serve me. Let me serve you in a way that's professional, in a way that's adequate, sufficient, and helps you grow as a person in the city. Like the council president said, our lives are at stake. And today it was obvious and evident to us that our lives are truly at stake. And if you have put yourself in a position as a voter, where your vote has basically become a virus, do something about it. You got about 4 more months and you're going to have an opportunity to do something about it. Playtime is indeed over for me. If I'm the one and I'm dragging you down and not making it better, get me out your way. I'm 100% okay with that. There's been some untruths told today, and I don't like it. Dr. Gott has an office that she's been doing phenomenally. Giving you the information that you need, making sure the meetings can go forward in a timely manner, in a professional, organized manner. And now that stability is being challenged. Only one person on the council is challenging it, and I really hate to be that way, but that's a fact.
So it's your free property.
Why don't you be quiet?
Why don't you shut up? That's
Come on
why-
out.
Come on now, you can't. Come on, you can't
See,
talk to
we don't need that.
that.
Black on black stuff. No, let's try to get along, baby. Let's just do it.
Brother Paul, Brother Paul.
How you gonna say pray, then you gonna whoop somebody?
Let's just do the meeting.
Well, I got about 30 more seconds worth of discussion, if y'all allow me, I really appreciate it. I agree that there is not sufficient crosswalks, but the city does have crosswalks.
This is the
There
problem with
is a
black folks now.
process.
Like, we just all kept
Hold
trying.
on. Michael, we got it.
Yes, the city does not have sufficient crosswalks, and there is action being taken by the Ohio Department of Transportation in accordance with the administration to do the appropriate study for pedestrian traffic, so we'll know where they cross the most. And through that, we'll know where to install the crosswalk that we have on order. We've got one already, and hopefully we can get some more in the near future, so we can make our city safer. Please accept responsibility for the things you do. And if you have any question about whether the comment that was made was actually made, text me. My number is 216-338-3071. Our cameraman has established a YouTube channel by which you can actually take a look and see for yourself if there's integrity across the table. So more to follow. My number is 216-338-3071. Playtime is indeed over. I'm only looking at the facts. Black History Month. Tulsa, Oklahoma had the Black Wall Street, which I talked about before. We can get back there. We can get back there, but it will take a little bit more trust, a little bit more patience, a little bit more willingness to thrive. Desire is what's required. Anybody heard of the Freedmen's Bank? So when the slaves were free, they started doing stuff like opening up a barbershop. And the barbershop made a whole lot of money. And they wanted some place to put that money so it can actually grow, so we can really establish a black economy. So that was a very successful bank. And I don't need to tell you that there was a lot of extra stuff where money was just coming up missing and nobody found liable for those dollars. It wasn't somebody that looked like me that caused that bank to fail, but the bank failed. But what the bank showed them is that, showed a lot of us that if we start applying ourselves as a unit, an organization, we can get to the place where we can realize that everything that we need will be available to us based on our own resources. That we come together and we put together in a way that we can actually glean some good stuff from it. And that's what I challenge us to do today. Start looking at what we can do to come together and start gleaning some good stuff. And not just for our generation, for the generations to become after we're gone, long gone. So I'm working for my grandchildren right now. My daughter already taken care of. Because I have a vision, and I want to share that vision with somebody with a like mind and wants to move in the same direction I do. So, subject to your question or concern, Brother President, that's all I have. Oh, yeah, excuse me, I do owe you a response. To answer your question, there is a time limit, and I believe it's 6 months. Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Law Director. There is, once you get a parcel of land from the city, and you fill out your packet, and it goes to the NAC, says this is what I'm going to do with this land.
Right.
You have 6 months, and then you can request an extension to accomplish your goal. Yes, 6 months. So, and you correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I, I don't have my information in front of me, but yes, and you are subject to get an extension if you need it. So more to follow.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank my colleagues, Mr. Mayor, Madam Law Director, our great, hard-working clerk, Dr. Guy, our great cameraman. I finally got a chance to check out the quality of the videos, our new videos, and they are very good. You can the quality of the volume is very, you can hear very well, and also the visual. Camera set up, you can see and you can hear everything. So I want to thank that. Thank you for getting the information out to the people about this legislation and hard work that we up here have to decide yay or nay on. Most importantly, I want to thank my neighbors, the great people of East Cleveland. It's cold outside, you could have been anywhere else. We have a first time neighbor, Ms. Phillips here with her neighbor, Mr. Radcliffe. We have our seniors. We have our the legendary Silver B. We have residents that come with their concerns. We have Miss Shirley Fitzpatrick, who's out here every day serving the health, interest, rights, and needs of the people. I really want to thank you all. I'll start with, as far as quote-unquote clap back, I don't have to do that. As I look around this room, I've been fighting side by side on the streets with Miss Tofi for the past 11 years. Silver B has seen me fight. Mr. Radcliffe, Mr. O'May, Ms. Walcott, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Phillips. I've served the people side by side with Ms. Shirley Fitzpatrick. And now I'm serving the people as your city councilman. Put here by you, the people of East Cleveland, to serve your health, interest, rights, and needs. Now we are here to work with the administration, with the courts, because we know about the past. We know about the relationship and I don't want to go to council meetings. Let me say this because, again, I'm not your normal councilman. To me, those are excuses. For the past 2.5 years, even tonight wasn't a bad meeting. I'm tired of hearing excuses. We need the people to get involved. Don't just come, say what you have to say, and leave. I know some of you might have somewhere to go, but I know how this go. You want to come, and then leave. It don't work like that. Mr. Mayor, I need you to break the ink pen out for me, please, sir. I have a car on 3rd that has been there for 5 days that needs to be removed. A light bulb on Strathmore is out. It doesn't need a light pole, just a light bulb. And we have youth in and out abandoned houses on Savannah that need boarding up. I know it's a process. To tell you the truth, I started to call Councilman Austin because I know when it comes to the children, sometimes we will skip the process in order to protect our children. But on the top half of Savannah, I do not have the actual addresses with me right now at this very moment. Sometimes I just want to just stop people while they talking, but I know it's inappropriate, and just ask them, do you think some of us don't read? Do you think we don't do our research? I've said this time and time again. And I want to look you in your eye this time, because maybe you didn't hear me the first 5 times. There's no jealousy and envy for what? When that 25 mile per hour first came up, you were against it just as much as anybody, and I'm still waiting on you to tell me the same thing, whatever convinced you to change your mind. I'm still waiting on you to tell me, so to convince me. I'm gonna tell you again, as far as I'm concerned, I can't speak for anyone else, but as far as I'm concerned, Councilman Martin did not bring down the legislation. The administration did. So when I say no, I'm saying no to the administration. When the administration brings something down and I say yay, I'm saying yay to them. When I say yay on your ordinance that you have here, I'm saying yay for Councilman Martin, who I'm saying yay to the people first. But Councilman Nathaniel Martin, you did not initially bring down the 25 miles per hour. We had already said nay before you even brought it down. So I'm just saying all that to say that I don't want you to believe that somebody up here going against you on a personal level, because that's absolutely not true. We're not going to agree on everything, but like I told you, the things that we do agree on, I want to go hard. I want to work hard on them, work real hard. And I believe we have done so, and I believe we will continue to do so. We're not always going to agree. We disagree, and we keep it moving to serve the benefit of the health, interest, rights, and needs. So I want to look you in your eye and tell you, it's nothing personal. Man to man. I can speak for myself. I really, truly do not believe it's personal with my colleagues. Way before you were with it. Remember, we didn't even let it come out of committee. So I really want you to know in front of everybody that it's nothing personal. We have talks, and we can't have our talks then come in here and I just do something totally different. That's not me. So, and it's gonna be another time. It's gonna be a time that you tell me nay. It's gonna be another time that I say nay to something your name is. It's not personal. Personal for what? Personal for what? We still serving. And see, in a minute, I don't want to make it negative, but in a minute, I'm going to look at it like it's some politicking going on, like you trying to make that be the narrative to try to get people to try to attack us. We're not about to start that council with 3 thing again. I've never roast marshmallows with the mayor. We work here together to serve the health, interest, rights, and needs of the people. I work with the people. I see people out there I've been working with hand to hand with for 11 years, and they wouldn't even let that narrative come up. That's why it's not working so far. So we need to stop that. My time is up.
I'd like to.
I do not own. One more thing. I do not own the club.
I got something to say. Yes, I do.
I know my great senior member told me, let them think what they want to think. My business is my business, and I really appreciate him for that. And that's what we gonna do. You have any questions? Look at the document. So right now we're entertaining a motion to adjourn.
So you're not gonna let me respond since you directed that? You're not gonna let me respond
All in favor?
to it?
Aye.